Hello Internet. So I wanted to make a video about my experience buying on Facebook Marketplace. Now it was my first time buying on Facebook on the marketplace, and I think it will also be my last. So I mainly wanted to buy a graphics card and upgrade my RAM. Because I had a 2060 and 16 gigabytes of RAM, and I wanted to get either like a 2080 Ti or a 3070. So I go to Facebook Marketplace and I message a bunch of people, and of course it's kind of like the PoE trade, where you'll message 15 people and one or two of them will get back to you, but I guess that's how it works. So I eventually found someone who would sell me his 2080 Ti. He seemed like a genuine person. He seemed like he was telling the truth. And I still don't know what exactly he was. So I bought a 2080 Ti for $250. And I took it home. Well, I should say, the first thing I asked him was, did he use it for crypto? And he said no. I asked him, can you show me it running in a computer? And he said no, but if I wanted to test it. But at that time, I had a power supply that was lower than the recommended, and I didn't want to open the new power supply I bought unless I knew that graphics card worked. But I took a gamble on him because I thought he was, a decent person, that he wasn't out for me. So I assemble the computer, I plug in the graphics card, and everything works, everything boots up. So I used the computer for about, 1 week, 2 week around, and then today, the computer just shuts off. And now that I think about it, it started to happen. Some weird things were happening last night too, where the computer would just shut down, but I hadn't seen the artifacting before. That only happened today. And keep in mind, when I first got the card, it's not like I didn't run any benchmarks at all. I didn't test it as thoroughly as I should have. But what I did do is I ran a simple OpenGL test. It was a benchmark that was using OpenGL. I forget the name of it. But it got approximately the speeds of what a 2080 Ti is expected to do. So I thought, great. And then I tested it with a couple games. Like I ran the Borderlands 3 in-game benchmark, and it just ran. But within 2 weeks I have the GPU is just dead. I even took it into a computer shop and I asked them what's up with this, and they came to the same conclusion I did, that the card is just bad. And I asked the seller whether he knew about this, and he said no, it worked perfectly for him, and that he hadn't used the card for a while, but it had always worked when he used it. So the most I had done with the card is I rendered a few things. I rendered a few video files, and then I used it a couple times for AI uses, for image generation and chat, for a machine chatbot. And that's the extent to which I used it. And the thing didn't even last a couple weeks. Now, the guy offered me, if I took it into a store, he'd give me half back off on what I bought it for, because he suspected I did something wrong. But frankly, not even frankly, the odds that I damaged the card in some way in those 2 weeks is very slim. I didn't drop it. I can't remember doing anything that would have done any significant damage to the card. So it must have been on its last legs when I bought it. And he might even be telling the truth. He might even have not used the card for a while. Or it's also possible that he knew about it and that's why he changed his GPU. And that's why he was selling it. But I don't know. I don't know what's true. So I'm out to that $250. I don't think I'm not getting that money back. And then I also had an experience buying RAM. So with this RAM, I had to drive like a half hour from here. And I bought it, the last seller was like, I want to say he was around 22 or 23. It's clear English wasn't his first language. And, he was Asian, like a younger Asian man. Funnily enough, he actually gave me a Path of Exile 2, like, early access code for some reason. I don't know where he got extra codes from, but maybe I don't even want to know. And then this other seller was an elderly Chinese man. I mean, who taught him what a RAM was? So I bought this RAM for, the list price was $40. But for some reason he gave it to me for $35. So I take it home, I put in the computer, and what do you know, one of the sticks is defective. So I already had 16 gigabytes of RAM inside my computer, so having a 16 gigabyte stick for the one I bought would have left me exactly the same as where I started. So I told him about this, and he said he'd give me the refund, so I sent the RAM back, because I just thought, this RAM is useless to me either way, whether I get the refund or not. It's not really going to I mean, having that RAM was useless, so I thought I might as well send it, even though I'm not really expecting a refund. So I paid with cash. So he said he was going to mail the envelope with the cash of what I paid back to me, and I'm still waiting on that, which I'm not even entirely sure I will get it in the first place. I should say I'll be surprised if I get it. So, both of the times I've tried buying my experience with Facebook Marketplace, both of those times have been a bust. So, the thing I've learned above all is if you're going to buy something from Facebook Marketplace, you have to know what you're doing, and only buy things that you have either tested in your computer or the seller has provided proof that it's running in their computer. If it's not that, don't ever take sellers at their word. It might even just be purely ignorance on the seller's part, because I don't even know whether either of these people were malicious or not. I suspect the GPU one was, despite what he claims and his friendliness. But I'm not sure the RAM was really malicious. Because it doesn't even really make sense to try to scam people $35 out of last generation RAM. I don't know. But if anybody else has had these experiences, I'd be curious. And if anybody's thinking of buying something from Facebook Marketplace, just be cautious about what you buy and check before you make the purchase and you hand over money. I think that's the main two things I've learned from here. Yeah. That's about it. But it's frustrating. I mean, it's not just the money, it's the time that went into tracking down the postings, and then not emailing, but messaging the different sellers, figuring out when to meet up. So it's not just the money I lost, it was the time as well, and I'm right back where I started, minus, what, $300? I guess $330 if you add on to the amount because I paid $30 for the guys to check it at the computer store. So, let this be a cautious tale for anybody who's thinking they'll just buy something from Facebook Marketplace. I mean, just make sure you're very cautious. That's the main thing. Okay, goodbye.